Hello, 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 and welcome to Let's Talk Fab. So excited about this subject, about the power of your circle, the community that you are together with. Let's talk. Okay. Well, with that, I love technology when it works and when it doesn't. I'm going to bring up.
Hey there.
Can you all real quick?
You're breaking up.
Okay. So what's going to happen? I'm just going to put it out here because we're all vulnerability is our goal, right? So I'm having a little bit internet issues here. Okay. So and that's Miss Kim O'Neill. So she might have to come up and help me a little bit here because I see the internet is kind of and I don't want to stop the show because this is a powerful show and we have some wonderful guests here. So I want to work in the background for a second. If you can come up and start the process and on here, and then I'll come up when I see.
Yes. Hello, Barbara and Karen.
Hi.
I just have to laugh. So Barbara, I think we're getting an echo through. There we go. Okay. So this is so funny. We were just talking about how this is not going to happen, and of course, what do you know? It happened. So it is so good to be here with you, Karen, and you, Erica. I'm meeting you for the first time, but it's so good to have you back on the show. I know you've been here before. Why don't we, even though you've been on the show before, you may be brand new to today's audience. And hello to today's audience. We love to have you with us. So as we move through today's show, please do comment down below. But Karen and Erica, I'd love for each of you to just briefly say who you are, what you do, and tell everyone where you are located in the world. And I'll start with Karen, who's right next to me.
Okay. I'm excited to be here today. I'm Karen Stultz from Midcoast, Maine, the way life should be. And I support intelligent, evolved, midlife professional women who feel stressed out, disconnected from life, from what they truly want, and don't know where they're going next. Through my awesome life success system and my heart energy techniques that I've created, I help them release the invisible blocks that drain their energy, that interrupt their sleep and deplete their confidence, so that they can feel totally vibrant, empowered, and fully alive in record time.
Love that, Karen. Thank you for sharing who you are and what you do. And Erica, let's go to you. Tell everyone a little bit more about who you are and where you are located.
Sure. I am located right now in the state of Michigan, and I always like to take advantage that Michigan is a mitten on the state. So I live in the tip of the pinky. So a little trick I get to do.
I love that. I've never heard that before.
Yes. Anyone you meet from Michigan will normally do something like that.
Yep.
All right.
But I was out east for almost 2 decades. So since I came home to Michigan, it's been fun to return to that. I am a coach, and I really focus on anyone who is just trying to figure out how to redefine who they are, how they live. I have a podcast called Defining You, and I also do everything from a place of curiosity, and it's foundational. I developed a curiosity framework that kind of helps you through life and how to interact with the world as it is now. So.
Love that. Okay, and we may have one additional panelist join us for today's conversation as well, and of course, we'd love to see Barbara join us back as well if she's able to. But let's get started right now. So bear with me because you guys know that I am really just hopping in to today's topic. And so from what I recall, I believe today we are talking about the power of your tribe, your circle.
Yes, and I just want to break in here, Kim, because this is a perfect example of how a community works and why a trusted community is so important, because I don't have to know each of you personally. And I've known Barbara for years, but just knowing that there is a trust here allows things like this to happen. And when you have a community, you know they have your back. So I think it is an excellent way to start today's conversation.
That was coming to mind too. So I love that you brought that up. We always talk about this show, the Let's Talk Fabulous show, is a team effort. It's not just any one of us hosts, it's the Fab Five, all of us. And we all work together. And I love and adore Barbara. So I'm happy to do this. I wasn't planning to, but I love it. I know, right? We love Barbara. So absolutely, you're spot on. And so let's see what our audience is saying really quickly, because I'm sure they're just having a ball with this, rolling with it. And we've got Steampunk Poe saying, hi, absolutely, what a team. And Murphy's Law, exactly. Gloria, I caught myself last night. I said, why am I even mentioning that someone else may have to come step up? I shouldn't do that and jinx us all. But yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you for rolling. Absolutely. Have either of you had to do this? I know, Erica, you also host a show. Have either of you had to kind of switch things up last minute?
Well, absolutely. Got to go with the flow. And hey, Carol is here. This is great. But yeah, you have to go with the flow. I've had a couple of podcast shows. It was like, dang, what's going on here? And it's wonderful to have that community that really understands and can go with the flow, and just, life has to be fun. Part of the Awesome Life Success System is the final E in awesome stands for enjoyment and fun. And this is what we need to really focus on. And how does it get better than this? I don't know, but I can't wait to find out.
I agree. Well, let's welcome Carol to the show. So good to have you with us, Carol.
Oh, thank you so much. It was a challenge to get on today. I kept getting weird messages from StreamYard.
It's technology. Something's going on with Mercury. Is Mercury in retrograde?
I don't know, but we'll claim it.
Well, let's just claim that, because
retrograde. Let's be real. It's always in retrograde.
Oh, I know. Well, Carol, I would love if you would share with everyone, just a little bit about who you are, what you do, and where are you located in the world?
Okay. Well, I'm Carol Henderson, and I have the Life by Design studio. I help people to circle up. You have a choice. Are you going to get better and better? Or are you going to go down, down, down? And so I help people to learn the differences and how to do that. I am located in the Panhandle of Texas. For those of y'all that about a year ago, we had the horrific fires up here. And y'all probably heard about the one that did 1.4 million acres. I mean, let that sink in. That was one of 5 fires that hit the same day. Same day. Wow. 5. The one here where we are was only 0.4 million acres.
Were you personally impacted by that?
We were the first neighborhood in a little town of Fritch that was told to mandatory evacuation. We live on a lake. It's north of Amarillo, Texas, for anybody that knows. It's the part of Texas that sticks up. We did not lose anything, but we were without power for 4 days. And that's where it really, really hit me and came home the need for community. Because it wasn't somebody in Timbuktu that came here with our food truck and fed everybody for free.
Wow.
Some of them were here 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But for 4 days, we had no power. And we can cook in our fireplace. But when you have high winds and fire all around you, you don't light your fireplace. You need a sandwich, and you try not to open your refrigerator too much because you don't want it to get hot and spoil your food. So it was different, but that's where I'm from, and that's one of the things that I think this is so true. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad that you are here, and I know each of you have so much to share on this topic. Let's kick off the conversation by taking a look at some of your videos and expand today's conversation. I'm going to start with you, Erica, and then we'll be right back and throw y'all in the hot seat. So we'll be right back.
I had coffee this morning with my mom, and I brought up the question of what community is. My initial thinking was around the knowledge that as humans, we need community to survive, that we were never intended to live alone. My mom, she went right to the heart. It's a group of people that look out for each other. I love that. Who those people are evolves and shifts and sometimes changes completely. She has several communities and told me about two of them. One built of her neighbors, another her close friends in town. I started thinking about all of my various communities, realizing that I as well have many. And the common denominator in all of them is acceptance, encouragement, truth, and support. What are your communities? And what are the commonalities that show up in all of them?
That is such a great topic to start with. And so, Erica, would you like to elaborate on what you were just sharing in that video? And then I'd love to go around to everyone to talk about what their communities are.
Yeah, well, it was so funny because I actually had been traveling over the weekend, and I had videoed something on the road because a barber called me and I was just about ready to get on the road. So I said, oh, I'll video something from the hotel. So I videoed something from the hotel that was awful. I was like, oh, this is just not going to be okay. I'm like, when I get home tomorrow on Monday, I'll do something. So I get home Monday to no power. So no power, no internet, no water, fire in a main power line caught fire. And so I unpacked and repacked and packed all my food up and went to my mother's, who lives in town, thankfully. And so the next morning we were having coffee and just kind of talking, and I was talking about this community, and she just like went right to it. And it was so different than what the original video I had done was. So I videoed that from my mom's, but it was the most perfect example, because as soon as, like, you can go without talking to your neighbors, and I live a little bit in the country, so I don't have many like direct neighbors, but there's an app that a lot of communities have that's called Nextdoor, and it can be completely quiet. And then when something like this happens that impacts the entire community, everybody is on there going, hey, how are you doing? Hey, how are you doing? Does anybody know what happened? Do you need anything? And it's like, it's those times where everybody just gathers together. But it's the times between those times that I think is where you really have to focus and build the community that's going to be there for you in between the chaos. And for my mom, she lives on a block, and they look out for each other. And she's lived there for, I don't even know how many decades at this point, and they all look out for each other. But it's like, you can have online communities, you can have there's just so many different ways. But the essence of what the community is, when we were talking about it, was those through lines, that you're supportive, you can support, you can trust them, they're there for you, no matter when or where you need them.
Yeah. I think you touched on a really important aspect of that. That's time between when the crises occur, right? That's really
yeah. We're really good at crises. This country's really good at crises. The more advanced that the nations are, the less community oriented they are. except in chaos, except in travesties and natural disasters. But we can learn so much from the communities who are there all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the mother aspect. We just had Mother's Day last week, so I love that you were able to emphasize talking about your mom. And before we move to another video, would Karen or Carol like to add anything to what Erica was just saying?
That is, it's so true. Being able to have people that you can give the love and receive the love and be there. That's what a friend is for. That's what communities are. And we can't live in isolation. It's not healthy to live in isolation. So it's wonderful to have that. And you expressed it beautifully, Erica.
Absolutely. I feel like we've already really hit it right on a very core element of it, which is the love and the heart aspect of it. And I know it's early in today's show, but we have our very special song that we do love to feature and share with our audience. And I think it's a really good segue to do that right now. So if you haven't heard this song before, just sit back, take a listen, and we'll be right back with today's conversation.
In the quiet moments, when the sun begins to rise, we find the strength within us. In the stories of our lives, not in gold or glory, but in hearts we've touched with grace, in the love we share with others, in each kind and gentle face. Your legacy is the love you leave behind, in the hands you've held and the souls you've helped to find. It's the laughter in the children, the wisdom in the old. It's the light you sparked in others, in the stories that are told. Through the trials and the triumphs, in the battles that we fight, it's the courage and the kindness that will always shine so bright. In the lessons that we teach and the dreams that we inspire, in the way we lift each other higher and higher. Your legacy is the love you leave behind, in the hands you've held and the souls you've helped to find. It's the laughter in the children, the wisdom in the old. It's the light you sparked in others, in the stories that are told. In the final song you sung, and the curtains drawing near, it's the moments filled with love that will echo year to year. In the footprints on the path that guide the lost and blind, your legacy will live on in the hearts you've left behind. Your legacy is the love you leave behind, in the hands you've held, in the souls you've helped to find. It's the laughter in the children, the wisdom in the old. It's the light you've sparked in others, in the stories that are told. So let's live with open hearts and give with all our might, for the legacy we leave is a beacon in the night, in the echoes of our actions, in the whispers of the wind. Our legacy of love is where it all begins. Our legacy of love is where it all begins.
Your legacy will live on in the hearts you've left behind.
That is such a beautiful song. I know. Thank you to Steampunk Poe who produced and recorded that. Yeah, I just want to throw out there, where else do you guys see the heart playing a role in really being connected to your tribe and allowing that support to come through?
I love that question, Kim. Did you want to say something, Carol? Or
Oh, well, I was just going to say that is a great question. And, if the love isn't there, the caring isn't there. And that's when there's less of a connection in the non-critical times. And so the more that everybody's connected and cares for each other, the more they check in on people, and the more they, it's a lost art, at least here where I live, because we're around a lake on acreage, so to speak. I mean, not everybody, but, most people. And, just taking a dinner over or a dessert or something like that, those in between the crisis spots get lost just in our busy worlds. And that's a sad thing.
Yeah, absolutely, Carol. Thank you for adding that. Karen, did you have something you wanted to add?
no, I it's all about the love. It is all about the love. If we really get right down to what causes a lot of our separateness, is that we are not, our lack of community is because we're not feeling the love and we're not sharing the love. And like you say, that in between time, it can't be all the time, but give yourself love. You are part of the community.
It all starts with us first, right? How can we give something if we're not giving it to ourselves, if we don't really have it for ourselves? For sure.
Put your oxygen mask on first.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we have Barbara back with us, and I think she may be joining today's conversation. So welcome back, Barbara.
Hey.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yes.
it's beautiful. Yes.
Awesome. I love technology. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Because I've been feeling the love, from this community. It's just amazing.
Well,
I was
Barbara,
it
I'm
from
gonna
my
let you take
laptop a
over.
minute ago.
Yeah, and thank you, wonderful Kim. See, this is what I'm talking about with community. So I want to keep it going. I don't want to stop the heart of it here. I wanted to make sure that I played a clip, because one thing about community is also about helping, right? The community. So I want to play this little clip, and then we're going to get into, because I think we still have Carol and Karen to play clip. So let's just see this little clip first about helping the community. We'll be right back. Yes. That's one thing, there's all different type of communities, and I didn't know if you went into it yet, but one of them that I love is, first of all, this type of community where you can work, with each other, but then also, you got to look at it every day. We're always in a community. When you think about it, every time we go out the door, we're in a community. We're in a community with family, friends, loved ones, work, nonprofits, if you're part of that. So I love how everybody has their different spin on it. But like you said, it does take the love of that to come into nature. So I want to get into, because we have to hear our clip from Carol, right? So I want to play Carol's, and then we'll talk a little bit about what she said about community.
Hello, I'm Carol Henderson, and I have Life by Design. And I'm here to talk a little bit about community today and how important it is in our lives. So many people don't have community. They don't have someone they can call on if they need something. And our local communities are so valuable. And after the shutdown worldwide a few years ago, many people lost that closeness with their neighbors. We have replaced it with Zoom, which is a good alternative. But with Zoom, you do need to get to know your friends and know about them and know where they're coming from. Somebody that you can call on if you're having a bad day. Somebody that can lift you up if you need information or just a hug, even if it's a virtual hug. So communities are what it's about today.
Oh, I love that. So we're gonna I want to make sure that we put Carol in the middle here and just talk a little bit about that, because I loved how you showed about the Zoom and stuff as well, because I feel like that has created huge communities for people. So tell us a little bit more of your thoughts on that as well.
Well, it is. People are very good at adapting. And we, especially as a country, when we were shut down, we adapted. I mean, there were different chamber events that I used to go to and drive 45 miles to town to be at. And they said, okay, grab you some food, grab you a drink. We're going to do it on Zoom. And so everybody, had something, and we did our thing on Zoom for a while. Not quite the same, not quite as much fun, but it worked, and we did what we had to do to get through all of that. And that's as far as I'll go on that. I pray that we never have to go through that again, because it did change our world. But we adapted. And so we do have the Zoom communities, and we have the local communities that you can take a pie to, and the people that can come feed you when you don't have a way to feed yourself. And, it's all important, all the different ways. And the Zoom has opened up just wide ranges of communities. Before 2020, I didn't know Barbara. So, now I do. I can call her up, ask a question. Another friend of ours, Barbara Ellison, and she comes on this a lot. But I mean, I'll call her. We talk almost daily, usually with the camera somewhere. Just we've gotten used to talk. That's how we talk, and yet we do know each other in real life. But we live from Chicago to Texas apart. So your communities can combine. I am very blessed to be the ambassador for a community over Amarillo with alignable.com, and then also a mentor over North Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas for a thing called People for People. And both of them are building communities, both locally and by Zoom, and internationally. I come out of the model and talent industry, so I'm excited that both companies are going international, because I have friends all over the world, and some of them live in different countries than they lived when I knew them. So it's going to be exciting to have more contact with everybody. So I'm not sure what else I could say about that, but
Yeah.
And I'm an only child, so I'm all about community. I don't have brothers and sisters to go harass. I just have my friends.
I love that what you said. I'm an only child too, so I'm in the same boat with you, Carol.
I know we have that in common.
Yeah, I love when I can get with people. 'Cause I'm like, well, I have no brothers and sisters, so everybody's brothers and sisters to me. So that's amazing. And I'm just as stressed too. I know we went in that dark 4 years, but one thing you mentioned, Carol, which I love, and I'm going to have the other ladies, the queens, I call lady queens, want to talk more about the community, what Carol was talking about, is adapt. Being able to adapt. Because when you think of it, the whole world had to adapt on, we didn't have that, like in togetherness, we can come together, but we were able to find a way. And that's what I loved about that. That's why I know so many people in different states and different countries, because we were able to find a way to still say we still need to communicate. We still need to come together. We still need to support each other. We still need to be there for each other, especially in this time, because everybody was going through it. I told somebody, I said, you know what? You weren't different than me, because we all was dealing with the same thing. So we had one thing in common, right? So now that we have this one thing in common, how can we make the love there work? So Erica or Karen, you have anything else to add?
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
We as women had to really work hard to get all our words in those days. That's why there were so many Zoom calls.
Yes, we do have a tendency of doing that. I love it. Love it. Erica or Karen, any thoughts on that?
Sure. I did a lot of workplace coaching, primarily started in the summer of 2020. So really in the height of COVID. And in the coaching community, we talked a lot about how, because we saw people adapt to lockdowns and then going back to work and there were so many people that had trouble with going back, and the people that were really the most resilient were the people that looked forward and that didn't want to return, knew that there wasn't a pre-COVID to go back to. And I think that happens with communities too, as I see a lot of struggles happening because the people that really leaned into the virtual communities, some of those virtual communities now are disbanding to do in person. And so the communities that started in person and then went online and garnered all of these extra and their communities grew. It's a real struggle, I think, for some communities that want to go back to in person. And so then you have the hybrid, and then that's a whole different type of community. And so I think we just have to be consciously aware of not leaving those behind who were involved in virtual communities because they may not have in-person communities to go back to. And so it's not a go back. It is a, how do you take what that community is and you can transfer it, but envelop and don't leave people behind, I think is the struggle right now when people are looking at virtual versus in-person communities.
Yeah, I like that. I like that you brought that up, Erica, because, you know, you get so used to one thing. People always talk about change, always about changing. So, you know, you're changing to, okay, now we're all in, and then now we're back out again, and then we're in and out, because some people used to being in. And so now you have both. So it seems like we have to accommodate more now when it comes to getting in communities. Karen, any take on that real quick?
I really appreciate the whole idea of not going back. We can never go back. It just is not possible. It's past. So it is important to recognize what is important for you. And with the COVID that you were talking about, Carol, I thrived because people wanted to see me in person for their therapy sessions. They didn't want to do it on Zoom. And now it's like, oh, I could take this class at home. I can have my community together at home. This is so awesome. So I have cocktail parties with my friends down in Florida. I live in Maine. I have another community of dear friends that are all over Zoom because, and I've never met them in person. They're all over the country and world. And we meet once a month and laugh and complain and support. And they're wonderful. It's a great community. And then, of course, it's like you were also saying, Carol, is sometimes you need that hug. Yeah. Physical. I mean, we can hug ourselves, and that's always helpful. But is nice to have somebody else to give a hug to. And so having that interpersonal community. So I have a group of friends that we go out to plays and to concerts. And then we have the community of our library. And it was so great because we were just building our library when COVID happened.
Oh.
And I was on the board and helping build it and everything, but oh no, now we can't meet. What do we do? And I was able to say, hey, Zoom, we can do it. We can still do it. What? I don't know how to do that. I don't want to. I said, okay, we can make this all happen. And then I got a call from someone who said, thank you so much. I didn't know. I can go to church now. Because I told them in church about this Zoom thing and how it works so well. So now I have my church community back.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. See, we always find a way, And that's the good part about that. Because one thing about, I don't care what's going on, we always need to come together and support each other. It just works that way. You can't do things alone. You know how they say, don't be an island on your own. When you have more than yourself and everybody, we can really do things more and get things done more so than just ourselves, just sitting back and saying, I'll just try to do it on my own. But no, it's never, that's not no fun to me. It's no fun to me.
Well, and on the other hand, every one of us is getting older every day. And I'm a baby boomer. And, my group is getting older and older, and so we can do things, we can still meet, we can still have fun without the effort of driving 45 miles to town. So that is one thing I do like. I do still go a lot, but I don't have to all the time, and that's one thing that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's beautiful about that. Awesome. So I want to go to, we want to go to Karen now. Let's hear Karen. She has some goodies for us, and we'll play that right now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Karen Stultz, the creator of the Heart Energy Techniques and the Awesome Life Success System. And community is where magic happens. This is where you feel seen, you feel supported, you feel inspired. It gives you the courage to step into your next level because you're walking with people. And when we're in a safe, heart-centered community, we don't just grow. We expand with greater ease and joy. And we stop second-guessing ourselves and we start believing in ourselves. And that's why I'm so excited to be part of this incredible show, because when we come together, we thrive together. So let's be in community, and I can't wait to see you there.
I love it. When we come together, we thrive together. Okay, I'm just going to leave it right there and go right to Karen on that one.
Enough said. That's it. I'm a pragmatic catalyst for positive change, and that is the way it is. When we are not islands, we were not designed that way. We needed to work together to be alive, and sharing is part of it. I mean, I know for myself, I have done a lot of stuff I can be really proud of. But if I can't share that, it doesn't serve my soul. It doesn't serve my heart the way it could. Because every single person out there really has a gift to share, and they need a community to share it with in order to make it grow, to make it thrive, to be alive, and spread the love and spread the good vibrations. That's what it's all about. That's what community is all about, however it is, virtual, in person. But be aware, allow it. That is the A in awesome, stands for awareness and allowing. And that is the first thing that we need to do to create this workable, survivable world.
Yes, definitely. And I love how you said, Karen, and I want Erica and Carol to kick in, how we learn and grow from each other. Like you said, we strive because I don't know everything. Okay, I'm just gonna say I don't. I really don't know. I know some things in my lane, but I don't know everything. And I always tell people, get over yourself. We all don't know everything. So that's why we need a community. That's why we need people to come and we grow and we learn from each other so we can all, again, lift up each other at the same time. So I'm glad that you said that. We strive with each other from learning things that you might know. Carol knows some things that I'm like, no, Carol, I need you. Erica knows some things I'm like, no, I definitely need you. And Karen, yeah, you need to remind me of certain things you do. Same as everybody out there in the comments. I want you to think about that. We all have our special, and I always say this all the time, our special gifts in us, but it's not there to hide. Our gifts are not there to hide. Our gifts are there to help and share with each other so we can help each other grow and live this life, so lovely. So Erica or Carol, anything to add to Karen's?
I just so in my curiosity work, when I give talks, one of my talks, I talk about community and surviving and thriving, and I say that we need other humans to survive, but if you build a community of everybody that's the same, then you'll eventually be able to learn all of the skills that you need to survive as a community. But if you actually have differences and acknowledge those, welcome them in and embrace them and highlight those, that's when I feel like we thrive. So I actually have in the back of my curiosity cards, we need people to survive. We need differences to thrive. And that is that embracing of what you bring to the table and your uniqueness.
There we go. I heard that uniqueness again. I love it. Carol, did you have something? I can see your head nodding.
I was just agreeing with what she said. And the thing is you need to continue. I mean, there are seasons. And in those seasons, you may see somebody in your community all the time. I mean, you're joined at the hip. But then there are times when you won't see that. It's not a broken relationship. It's just a not now relationship. And, think about your best friend from high school. You can pick up with them where you left off the last conversation 9 times out of 10. And, it's like you were never apart. There's no separation. And so, just if you can remember to just reach out occasionally to those people and just, hey, thinking about you this morning. I remembered you in my prayers, things like that. It means so much when somebody reaches out and says that to you. So think about, reaching out, and even somebody could make a plan for that of, people that you reach out to every 2 months or something and have a list and do 1 or 2 a day. And that matters, and it keeps you in business. We'd say top of mind, but it's not about business. It's just about heart. And, they may be going through something, and your note may cause them to call you back and say, oh, I'm so glad you reached out. So,
yeah,
it's happened to us recently, or fairly recently, that somebody just made a comment almost like that on Facebook. And I reached out, and she goes, oh, I pray for y'all every day. And it's a girl that lived with us and traveled with us in ministry for many years. And as it turned out, it was shortly after that, Keith had a heart attack, and she's sitting at the hospital with me in Dallas during surgery. And I look back, I don't know what I would have done if she hadn't been there with me. I mean, I would have been lonely because he had 3 heart surgeries in a month and a half, and 2 of them were in Dallas. So, and since then the relationship has picked up where it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And so that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. I love how, what you said about sometimes things happen for a reason in communities. Cause I know every time And it's always never fails. Every time if I'm going through something or dealing with something or just not, my regular Barbara J. Beckley self, somebody pops in a messenger or sends me a text or something and say, hey, how you doing, Queen? To me with the Queen. Or they say, I was today, or, just give a little smiley face or a little heart. Yeah. That's community to me, because I always call those are check-ins with people. We should always be doing that. I started even since COVID, I've been saying we need to check in with our communities to see how they're doing. And I mean, really how they're doing, not just, hey, okay, whatever. No, really try to sink in a little bit and see how their day is going, or are they having a bad day? Or maybe they need to just yell about something, or maybe they're happy about something they want to celebrate. So I love that you brought that up, Carol, because that really is so important to do those check-ins with our community and our people out there that we love and care about, because you never know what's going on. But it seemed like every time something's going on with me, I get those little love notes there. So with that, so I wanted to do a quick video about some characteristics of community. And it's been kind of talked about throughout this conversation about love and respect. But just to give you just a reminder, when you're looking at communities and really understanding how a true community should really work, it should be where, there's certain guidelines that are there to kind of point out to say, okay, is this, I'm going to put it out there, is this kind of a negative or is this kind of a positive one? Because there can happen to that too. We could talk a little bit about that, because you can have some negative communities. So we want to make sure you're not in that part. I like the little earth ball going, and that's what it's all about, right? It's about the whole world, not just the United States, but the whole world. So with that, I want to, just kind of ask this wonderful panelist, since we have just a little bit more time left, ways of, I said respect, right? Support, there was empower. So just get your idea, take on how those words really kind of blend in when it's talking about community. Anybody want to take that, Erica?
Yeah, you brought up a really good aspect of another version of another community, and that is there's in town, there's a incubator or shared office space. The kind where you've got a lot, but they're all mission-driven organizations. And so you've got all these different businesses working in one space. And so they did an exercise. They always have community meetings. They view it as a community. And we created a community guidelines. And so you have to be, when you're building a community that has more of a formal structure, or you're going into it, it's building that structure. It's building that aspect of respect. It's building into the fold the needs that people need, and it gives somebody a chance to say, hey, I think that this is in the guidelines. So it kind of gives people permission to, like, if somebody's on the phone, do you stop by? Or if you're working and you're focused, do we put up a little flag that says don't bother me? Or how do you work with each other? And it's if you think back to Facebook communities, it's like you have to agree to community guidelines. And as an administrator, you can always go back to it. So there are those more formal, structured communities that really have to give weight to it. But when you are an admin for that, you have to adhere to it and explain it so that people understand what those are. And it's like a facilitator or a monitor of a community. So yeah, I like that you brought that up, Barbara, that there are those formal structures as well.
Yeah, because you want to make sure that you're not, like I said, you can go into the negative vibe, depending on what community you're building, right? but you still should have those standards so people know this is the community. That's what we look for. We look for the respect. We look for this and this. So thank you, Erica, for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Now, what we're going to have to do, because I was looking at the time and I want to make sure that each panelist has their last thoughts when it comes to building a community and how important it is. I want to say just right now that, you know, what Tamara said is, well, I said it too in the video. She said, building a community one step at a time. And it's not just building one step at a time, but one person at a time too. Because everybody, you never know what people's needs are. So in the community, like I said before, ask those questions. This is what I'm going to leave my last thought. Ask the questions, get to know your community. You know, I always tell people, if you're in a community and there's 1,000 people, I say it all the time. Oh, I got 1,000 people in my community I'm in, you know, on Facebook or whatever. I said, well, how many people do you know out of those 1,000 people?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, some can't even count on their 5 hands. They're like, I think I know this person and that person. So really realize where your community is, and do you really know those individuals and know what their needs are and what maybe you can give to them and they can give to you, instead of just saying I'm in a community with this many numbers. Because, you know, numbers is nice and everything, but it's about what the relationship, the connection, the building of that community. So so everybody, we're going to do a 30-second game. So people know this already, it's been on this panel. So in 30 seconds, I want to give you any last thoughts when it's talking about building a community, or, you know, how important it is. And I'm going to start with Carol.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, I've got to say, I think community is very important. I've been in many over the years, and some were very formal. I will also say that if you're not a member of Alignable, alignable.com, go do it. It's free. And reach out if you have any questions. But this new one that we're standing up, the people for people, I know those people better already than I know some people that I know in real life. And their whole thing, it's most networks are business to business. This is business to community, completely and fully. And that's one thing that is so exciting, is that they are bringing everybody together. And it's being a blast, and it will fully launch here in a couple more weeks. So.
Okay. So I got to go to Erica, 30 seconds. Sorry.
I would invite everybody who's listening to this now or on the replay to do a community audit, and to actually sit down and write down all the communities that you're a part of. And sometimes we are part of communities that we no longer serve us. And by bringing down your list of communities to those that are really important to you, that you give and receive, can actually strengthen that community for you. So awesome. Community audits.
Community audits. And Miss Karen, 30 seconds, lady.
And I can't agree more with Erica. It is so true, and exactly what I was going to say. Take a look at the communities that you have and recognize. Sometimes we say, we don't have any community. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Take a look at it and see. I love the idea of an audit, because you got to see what is draining you. Sometimes we're in a group of people, either virtually or in person, that are draining you.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Find a way to say, all right, bye-bye. Get the courage. Bye-bye. Love you. Appreciate everything. It's time to grow and move on for me. And I'm still here to support if I can. I love you. Bye.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Love it, love it. All the good tips. So today we were talking about community. Like, this is a community right here. Let's talk fab. So with that said, thank you each and every panelist today. Thank you everybody out there with the wonderful comments. Please do the replays, because there was so much good information, not only here on the panel, but in the comments as well. We will see you next week with another wonderful show and host of Let's Talk Fab. Take care.